Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mr. Bowen's All Stars. If you are new to my channel, I am going on my 15th year of teaching elementary school, and today is classroom tour day. At this point, I feel like I am pretty well set up for my classroom to show you what it all looks like for the first day of school before I start labeling the room with students' names. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to give you a tour of my space. As we go around the room, I'm going to give you a brief explanation about what each part is and how it works. If you want a more in-depth look on the different parts of my classroom, you can check out my classroom setup videos. The room is a bit small, but I feel like I did a good job maximizing the space that I had available and putting things in that were functional and also giving it kind of that old school kindergarten feel where there's a lot of opportunities for students to play. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll start from the door and we'll do the tour. This is what it looks like coming in from my door. And right now the lighting is quite a bit brighter than what I would like to have it, but I have it this bright for recording purposes. I would have those front lights by the whiteboard off, and I would dim these back lights here to make it softer because we have soft light with the lamps back here and the lamp up front there, as well as I have these hanging lights that add a little bit more of a nice soft feel to it. The first center that you will find right at my door is the math center, and there's a sign here that has 3 dots that shows how many students can be at the center at one time. I have clothespins with each of their student number on them that they get to put on one of the dots to say that they are at that center. When all the dots are filled, then no students can come to that center until someone moves. But at the math center right now, it's just ready for the beginning of school with stocked with basic manipulatives, colored tiles here at the top, cubes, colorful cubes right here. Base 10 blocks, they don't know how to use these yet, but it's just fun for them to explore early on. Pattern blocks, magnetiles, which is a classroom favorite, and then sorting bears and two-sided counters. We're going to move counterclockwise now and come over here to the computer cart where we have the sign for tech. 2 students can be at the tech center. And here are my drawers, my rainbow drawer, rainbow cart, which I organize things by day. Everything that I need for each day is labeled not very, I know it's not the most visually appealing, but this is what I did for labels, and I just haven't really had time to make more fancy labels. So Monday through Friday. Then I have a drawer for extras, anything that I can use to give students extra activities. I have some independent packets for morning work, the journals. I have different like journals that students do at the beginning of the year. A Alpha Friends journal, which is a kind of a learning how to do the alphabet, goes in there, and anything that I need to have sent home at that drawer right there. My filing cabinet with, I have labels all around the room for different items that students can see and practice doing writing with pictures, that when they see pictures and familiar things. This is my small group table. Just got to kind of clear off some stuff, but right now it's fairly clean. And over here is my small group area, materials that I will need for small group. There's definitely a lot to see over here, but one of my favorite parts is all of the decodable books that I have. We do a lot of decodable books in here for reading, and I have them organized by skill, usually by word family skills, from like short A, then it goes to like AT word family, AP word family. I have them all sorted that way. I don't have labels yet, but I kind of in my brain, I know where everything is, so I don't necessarily need labels. I have the books turned sideways for when the next book begins. And this whole shelf is full of nothing but decodables because they are very, very important to help students read things in context from the skills that we're learning. Have flashcards here. I have these handheld whiteboards, which I absolutely love for them to like give answers and hold up answers and stuff. So they can hold that with their hand and flip it over. So that is something that I really like. I have these magnetic whiteboards right here. They have Elkonin boxes on them. You can use magnetic letters on them. They come from Lakeshore Learning. They are kind of expensive, but I inherited those. I love them though, and if you can get a hold of them, they're definitely worth it. There's some other like folder games here that I have that I've got ready for the first day of, not the first day of school, but like the next few weeks after we get to know each other. So my small group area is pretty well ready and organized for the most part. Coming over here, these green baskets, they are going to house the centers for literacy workshop. Each group has their own specific center for the day, and it rotates throughout the day. They have two different choices, and one is their what I call the ABC centers, and the other one is just their extension center, which usually will be housed in these baskets here. And here is the home living kitchen area, which I talked more in depth in one of my classroom setup videos. But here's some shopping baskets. There's the pots and pans, dishes down here. Oh, they got a little messed up. I'm going to have Hannah come back in here and reorganize that. Coming over here, food sorted by food groups. So this will be a popular area, I have a feeling. Right here is my classroom library, and it looks like a small space, which it is, but because in kindergarten they have tiny bodies, I feel like we can fit 3 students in here. And right now I haven't brought them down yet, but I have little cushions that each student can sit on in this area, and you can see the library sign, which got a little bent. I don't like that. There's 3 spots for students to be in here. And a really quick, how I manage my library is they are matched by sticky dots. So each bin has a genre, a specific genre, and then they are able to pull out a book from one of the bins and read it in the library, or if we're doing like stuff at the tables and they have all their work done, they can grab books from the library and read it. Then when they are done with that particular book, they put it back in the matching bin. So as you can see right here, this book has a pink dot with an X on it. So they put this book back when they're done into the matching container. At my library, there are the mailboxes. I'm not super excited about them being right here, but just the way that my room is set up, there's not a low enough place to put my mailboxes without really just discombobulating everything. I could have put it over there at the writing center, but I don't want to have the writing center and the library area right next to each other. So anyway, the mailboxes are here. They are labeled by student numbers. Over here, oh, I forgot forgot to mention the green basket over here. Going around the classroom library is another little small area where students are able to get these literacy trays. They have magnetic letters on them with activity cards. This one is where the letters are all matched up in alphabetical order, but then they can slide these letters down and make CVC words, and they can work on sounding them out. And also, there are different sides to the cards as well. So there's the alphabet side. There's these letter cards here. It's called letter match. You can do beginning sound match with the pictures. You can do ending sound match with pictures. There's a bunch of different activities that you can do with those magnetic letters. So at the beginning, I will be using these trays in small group and introducing them in small group, and then they will permanently live over here where they will get to use them on their own. Here is just a crayon class pack where they can get specific colors. If they're missing something, they can come over here. Some Kleenex. So this area is kind of packed a little bit, but it's functional. Here's my calendar right here, which has their team point cards. Every table has a number and a color that matches, and each table is considered a team. I do a lot of discussion, class discussions in my instruction, and so they get to work as teams to have those discussions. They can work together on certain activities, and when they are following the school's behavior plan, when they're following their pause, the teams get points, and at the end of the week, the team with the most points gets what is known as the All-Star Trophy. Over here is my math bulletin board. There's not a whole lot here right now because instruction hasn't started, but there's the hundreds chart where they will learn how to count by tens, and then eventually there are cards behind the fives, which then they will be able to start working on skip counting by fives as well. And the goal is to have them be able to count by tens, fives, and ones all the way to 100. Right next to my math bulletin board is where my whiteboard is, the projector, which is off right now. I have my schedule on magnet tape, and I can easily change things around. Voice level cards where I put a clothespin to tell students how loud or quiet I want them to be. And then over here will be my ELA board, which I don't have anything up really yet either, other than just some small anchor charts with important skills that I want the students to be able to know throughout the year. These get easily come off, and I put it over at my document camera to project it. And it's just easy for me to be able to put it back up and down, and they're easily accessible. And right here is my building blocks sign. I have 3 students that can be at the building blocks area, the dollhouse. 2 students can be at the dollhouse. My building blocks are right here, and I use the connecting cubes for both building blocks and the math centers. I'll have a little selection of connecting cubes that'll be available over here. I have the cardboard building bricks as part of the building blocks area as well. My beginning of the year read alouds, which they're, because of the humidity in here, some of the books are getting a little curled. Not a fan of that. Right here is my art center. I'm going to put out a few more pieces of fancy paper, but this is what it's going to look like. I have a little bit of felt here with some pipe cleaners, construction paper, cardstock paper. Students can also use the chalkboards to make some art on the front here, and the supplies are around the other side. So here is glue bottles. I need to get out some more colored chalk, but it's functional if I forget. White chalk is here. The chalk erasers are here. Extra crayons are here. I need to get some thicker crayons. Again, I had some big jumbo crayons that have since been broken. Markers, extra markers are here. Thick glue sticks with thick pencils and colored pencils here. The paint brushes and paint palettes right here. More labels for items in the art center. Coming around is the writing area. The writing area has some different kinds of crayons here, some scrap paper, primary lined paper here, clipboards, small highlighters, big highlighters. There erased some erasers, as well as the extra pencils for if students decide that they need a pencil, they can come grab one here if it's broken or dull, and they can put it in this basket right here. More labels are down here along with the writing center sign for 3 students. I forgot to show my information board right here, which has some important routines and procedures for turn and talk, think, pair, share, partner reading, and when I do like a zero noise signal or quiet cue, a lot of times I'll do like a call and response. So saying something like, "Oh, my peeps listen," and they respond right now, and that means that they have to stop, look, and listen to what I am saying. There, down here will be the lunch choices. There will be a calendar for all the events that happen throughout the month. Uh, just this is posted for helping students do hand tracing and belly breathing when they are feeling upset or stressed. Turn-in bucket is here. More center baskets for when I get those center items posted. So word work goes here. The other extra bucket goes here. And our lunch basket is down here. More labels, the birthday display, which I will put their birthdays after this video. My projector computer right here. Over here is I need to get something better than this, but for right now, I just have these folders here. These are going to be the differentiated center ABC centers. So students, they'll be put into different groups, and it'll correspond with this workshop board right up here. They have two, like I said before, they have 2 different choices. One is their ABC Center, which is the folder activities that I'm going to show you. And I'll have a little card that shows what shape that each group does. And then their second center is the Extension Literacy Center that I told you about before, where these baskets will house those centers. And each day, each group has a choice of 2 centers. It's free flowing. They can do either the ABC center as many times as they want, or they can go to their extension center. And those are the 2 choices. There's no rotation. They change, these bottom centers change once a day. And the ABC centers don't change as much, but these folders, there'll be a lot of different choices inside these folders, different activities. I'll have a stack that goes in the folder, and they'll be leveled. And I'm not going to tell, of course, the students what they mean, but this will be, below level, on level, and above or higher. And there'll be like a stack of different activities. The students come over. If they pick the ABC Center, they pick one of the activities worksheets. They're like cut and glue activities. Sometimes there's like tracing things, but it's all differentiated, and they have a choice here. So they either choose one of these items, which is the ABC Center, or they pick their extension center. Here, down here is the puzzles and games. The puzzles and games sign right here. And then it's kind of connected, but these are their individual cubbies, which will house their supplies, their workbooks, their individual pencil boxes if they choose to have one for special projects, because as I said in the last video, we do community supplies where each table gets crayons, scissors, glue sticks, and pencils. And then if we do like a special project, they have an opportunity to grab their pencil box out of their book bins. Also in their cubbies slash book bin area, they will also house their headphones, which they will use for the computers or when they take one from the Chromebook cart. And I have up here extra headphones for any students that do not have any, that do not bring any from home. Here are the trophies that I got. I'm just going to use one for the All-Star trophy for those team points that I talked about before. Each team, the team that wins will get one of these trophies, and it'll stay on their table for that week. And then at the end of that week, we find the new winner, and that trophy then moves to the next table. And you can see that I used paint markers to write their team number on the tables. I almost forgot to show you some of my academic displays, one being my word wall, which is above my kidney-shaped table. I do still use a word wall because there are those few words that don't follow the specific spelling pattern or decodable pattern that we learn in kindergarten. There's a lot of different advanced spelling patterns that you learn in first grade and in second grade that kindergartners are just not ready for, but they still need to learn those high frequency words. So I still do utilize a word wall. My alphabet is here above my library in the kitchen, and my numbered cards, number display is right here above my math bulletin board and calendar and above my ELA bulletin board. Over here, eventually, I will have other letter cards, which I use called Alpha Friends. They have different characters that go along with the letters, and it really helps the students to learn the letters because there's hand motions that go along with the characters, and it just helps them commit to memory the different sounds and the names of the letters. On this back wall, I've already introduced my workshop board for ELA workshop, but I also have this poster that I kind of hand drew a few years back, and I use it a lot. I refer to it a lot for students when it comes to them trying to figure out unknown words. A lot of times they just try to say, I don't know how to read that word. Well, you give them 3 opportunities to try and figure out the word on their own. The first one is always is what is the code? How can they sound out the word first? That should be the number one most important thing. Then, if they can't really sound it out, well, wait a minute. Maybe it's one of those word wall words that we haven't quite learned the spelling pattern, the decodable pattern yet, or they are irregular. So we go look at the word wall to see if we can figure that word out. And then finally, they would look at the picture to see if they can get some context clues as to what that word might be. Right next to this display, I have just different they're not necessarily rules, but guidelines that we try to follow in my all-star class. And down below here at the calming corner is the zones of regulation that help students identify what they're feeling at the time, as well as some breathing exercises that I use with the students to help them calm down at the calming corner. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I just want to make sure I cover everything. Over here is the shapes poster, and I almost forgot that down here below the number posters are the color posters as well. Before we end this video, I just wanted to show you what the classroom looks like with the overhead lights dimmed and the front lights turned off, along with the hanging lights and the lamp in the front and the lamp on in the back. To me, it feels very calming, welcoming, and it just seems like a nice calm place to learn. And that is the end of my classroom tour. I hope you're able to get a good look at how I was able to utilize a classroom that's on the smaller side, but I was able to maximize the space that I have available by keeping everything organized, and each place has its own spot for it. My favorite thing about how my classroom is set up is it has really that kind of old school kindergarten feel where there's lots of opportunities for exploration and for students to play while we're still making sure that we are addressing those academic skills and standards that are needed for students to be successful by the end of kindergarten. There will be more videos on the way coming up soon. I'm going to do a deep dive into some of the different themes that I do in my kindergarten classroom. First one being coming into kindergarten, back to school, or welcome to school if it's their first time, they haven't had preschool. So, as always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel to get more videos about my life as a kindergarten teacher. Thanks for watching.